And it was here where I heard a very clear message. If you don't like the way your neighbor is running this mobile home park, why don't you run it?
In the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
My name's Bob Baldwin. I've lived out in this rural area of northwest Harris County near Tomball since 1994. We lived on 10 acres. We came out here to be a long way from neighbors and have enjoy our affluence and our personal peace. In 2004, the neighbors that we knew sort of casually got us involved in a lawsuit with the owner of a mobile home park that's about 400 yards from our 10-acre property. As we got involved in that, it actually went to an administrative law judge, and he suggested that we come and walk around this property. The issue was, could the park be expanded so that more mobile homes would come in? And of course, the neighbors out here didn't want more low-income, Spanish-speaking people to move into their neighborhood. That's what the lawsuit was really about, although the issue was environmental. So we came, and I was standing near this spot in knee-high grass, and I had a very clear thought come to my mind. If you don't like the way your neighbor is running this place, why don't you run it?
But give me Jesus.
I think I still would have avoided the call on that had we not gone to work with a church about missional community. And we were on Sunday morning worshiping there, and I looked over, and there was the owner of the mobile home park in the same congregation worshiping with me, and I took that as a very clear sign that I needed to do something. I went to him, reconciled with him. Ultimately, we agreed to purchase this property, which we did in June of 2006. I didn't speak Spanish. I had no one to live in the park as the on-site manager. God took care of those things. Brian Schaefer and his family came into our life and knocked those things out of the way.
We were at a place, my wife and I, where she had just transitioned out of a children's pastor's position at a church, and so you know, we were looking to downsize, we were looking to move out of our upper middle class neighborhood, and we were exploring a lot of options, and we just felt like God was leading us to the Tomball area, and so we began to ask, you know, why not join in the dream and live in the community where Bob lives. We didn't have a lot of expectations moving in. We just wanted to get to know the people, and we wanted to see where God was working. We wanted to join Him where He was, and not come in with some program, but just wanted to be Jesus among the people.
This world, but give me Jesus.
The mobile home park, as we received it, was in very bad condition. The roads had never been paved. There were no street lights. The mobile homes were located right up on the street, where they were a real eyesore to the neighbors. The fence that was along the road was in very bad condition. The ditch alongside the road was never mowed except by the county a couple times a year. So when the neighbors around looked at this, they looked into it and saw, look at those immigrant Hispanics, what a blight they are on our neighborhood. With money and contractors and your business expertise, you can figure out how to pave streets and get street lights and move mobile homes around and build new waste treatment plants. The hardware part is where you go first. And I really recognize it because it's easier than the software, which is the human relationships. The aspects of the human relationships, we offered English, we offered homework help. So during the part where we were doing all the hardware work on this, we got to know everybody. I think we know everybody by name, every child. If one ran in, we would know who that is. They know us. We didn't raise the rent. Very consciously, we didn't want to do that because we didn't want anybody to misunderstand that we were doing this with some worldly motive. This isn't phileo love, win-win, you know, I'll fix it up and you pay me more. We consciously didn't do that because we didn't want anyone to misunderstand that we were doing this just because God loved them and that they needed to live in a better place.
People say the time will heal, but you know they just don't feel what you feel.
We went door to door and did a survey and asked them what they would like to do and be a part of, and ESL became very clear to be one of the top priorities in their lives. And there's a lot of places that teach English as a second language. Why not do it right here?
Right. This building behind us is, you can probably see, is just a double-wide mobile home, which we bought and installed in this spot right here. This is where we do our English classes and where we do the homework help. It's also where we run our computer center because there's no high-speed internet access available in the mobile home park to the residents in here. So if you want high-speed internet, you come down here and get it from us.
Since we've moved in, I would say we've had 12 to 15 new babies coming to the families here, and so we've been a part of all those new births to celebrate. We've had graduation ceremonies, parties in here, and so it's been a great time to share those times in their lives.
I think we're more of a network now than we are a real community. People will talk to Brian and to me rather than talk to each other about things. I think that is now the next phase, is to really make it a community. And then, of course, to connect this community to the other cultures that are right next door to us. We have people who have lived here since the 1950s that still have cattle on their property right next door. And then we have brand new 5,000 square foot homes that are being built right across the street in a gated community. That's our larger neighborhood that we're hoping for the unity of the body of Christ in this place. And by the way, Christians everywhere, but everyone goes to a different congregation. And we tend to see our Christian lives revolving around those congregations rather than this place where we live and the neighbors that we live with.
Every month we had opportunity to collect rent and to catch up how people are doing, but during the month there's always been opportunities to walk the streets and to talk to people out in their front yards and to find out how the kids are doing and do some, you know, job networking with them or helping build resumes, helping be an advocate, calling the electric company on their behalf. It was an interesting Saturday evening, was going to bed, and Father's Day was coming up on the Sunday, and it was around 5 a.m. in the morning where I heard some fire trucks pulling into the park, and I was awakened. I got dressed and I rushed over to a mobile home that was on fire, and the family was out in the streets, and there was a lot of panic, and the neighbors were out, and so here I was showing up and trying to evaluate and assess the situation and trying to meet many of the needs. But as I talked with the mother and discovered that her father, her husband, actually the children's father, had been out all night drinking and celebrating, and he wasn't even in the house. And just moments later he showed up at the scene, and he just broke down, started crying, and there I was having a wonderful opportunity to talk to him about some of the decisions that he had made. And here it was, Father's Day, and his children were in danger, and thank God that they had gotten out of the house safely. To this day, it's been over a year, and whenever I see him, we talk about some of the commitments that he made that morning to be a better father and a better husband and provider and protector, and to not, you know, go off the deep end with the alcohol again.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that save a wretch like me.
I came to Christ late in life, January of 2000. So this is really the first call on my life that really caused me to leave my comfort zone. I was always a stock and bond person, never had owned rental real estate, always said I didn't want to deal with people where they lived because it was too much of a hassle. I was very afraid of these people because I didn't know anything about them, and I was very uncomfortable, but God's given me a real love for them, and that's kind of a surprise. People ask me, why are you doing this? Why would you buy a place like that? It was in very bad shape, and I think the simple answer was I was under conviction that the people that lived here were my neighbors, that this road goes by my house, and I drive by all the time, and with that conviction I couldn't not do it.
The mobile home park experience for me and living here and is not only an opportunity for me to disciple others, to be more like Christ. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me to grow in so many areas, to be like Christ. I see the needs of the people, but then I turn it on myself and think of my own needs and my own wants and desires, but those are opportunities that God's used to take me deeper in my relationship with Him. And to raise our children in this atmosphere is a wonderful blessing as well. They attend the public schools, and they're growing up, you know, with I guess with an appreciation for all races, for all socioeconomic classes represented. I lived life as a comfort worshiper. I was really a pretty dedicated pagan, to the extent that my wife and I never had our own children. So to come into a place with all these children, didn't really know what to say to them, and yet, you know, it says in the scripture, Jesus told His disciples, don't worry when you're before kings. I'll tell you what to say. And you know, I think we've experienced that. That those little kids, they're about the age of what our grandchildren would be if we had had our own kids. And it's kind of ironic, you know. If you leave the things you're comfortable with, Jesus said, I'll give you family. I'll give you way more than you ever thought you'd have.
We'll be forever. Be